Hello, welcome back. Okay, I think I'm sharing the right monitor here, hopefully. Okay, good. So yeah, welcome back. PageKey stream time yet again. Last time we were struggling with VGA, and I think we're at a point where I'm just going to do a write-up and get this merged in, because we made some progress, whatever. So this morning I wrote up a whole thing. So long write-up about VGA. I have to edit this, and then I'll turn it into a video as well and merge this in. And going to take a break from PageKey operating system for a little bit because I want to get this next project kicked off, and then we can return to PKOS later. But I want to get Boom Community Edition seeded and started. Actually, it looks like I already started this, which I don't remember doing, but okay. So yeah, Boom Languages is, I've made many attempts of this on my own, but I think it's finally time to make it open source. So that's the whole point of this repo. And it's a Next.js project. Unfortunately, I already did some work with it. Maybe, I can't remember if I streamed it, but I do not think that I did. But anyway, it has a docs website, and it has a Next folder with the Next.js app in it. And who knows, maybe there will be some other little services that we have to write for it. But yeah, I think there is a Pages site too. There should be anyway. But that's okay. For now, it doesn't really matter. So let's see where we're at. My goal for this stream is to get a couple pages in and get the builds and stuff working, and get tRPC working with this guy. But if we go down the repo and pull it, and from there, what's my remote looking like here? Am I on a fork? Oops, I am on a fork. I'm just going to reclone this. The forks are great, but now that I know how they work, I'm just going to reclone it. Okay. So we've got Boom CE open. Let's see what happens if we run the Next.js website. So we'll run dev. Oh, perfect. There's actually no npm installed on here, so that'll be fun too. I know there's an nvm install command somewhere, and that's what I usually do. So here we go. It's the install script. And then nvm is working, so we'll say nvm use, or I might have to do nvm install. I wish I had noted down which version to use. Maybe I can do a list. Whatever, let's just say, wait, did that come with node? nvm install stable 2162 sounds good to me. And we can do nvm use stable, and it looks like it already set it as the default, so that's good. Node version, cool. So now if I run the next website, well, I have to install it first, so let's let that run. There we go. If we run dev, Should get a localhost port. And there we go. We have our next app. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is just delete this page with all this nonsense going on here. And okay. There we go. Hello. And this globals thing, first of all, why is this in the source folder? I guess that's okay. But I'm going to delete all this stuff and just leave the Tailwind stuff. There we go. All cleaned up. And then the next thing I usually like to do for this sort of thing is install Mantine for styles, which shout out to Monroe who told me about that. Actually, before we do that, let's add a layout component too. So I'll make a components folder, go in there and make a layout.tsx. Let's make the children any. And then we're good there. And then the app can just wrap the actual content with the layout component. That should take care of that. That looks good. And then how do we install Mantine? Well, let's go check it out. Mantine.dev is the best component library I've found to date. It's pretty awesome. Get started. I know that they have templates, but I prefer not to use them. Oh, let me follow the Next.js guide. Same step there, and then we'll do this. I wonder what CJS is. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, it sounds good. And then we have to set up the pages router. Import the styles. After the globals. I don't know if that overrides. I've had problems with Tailwind interacting with this in a bad way. Either way, we'll throw in this theme creation stuff. Create the theme. I'll leave that there for later. And then we can do another wrapper. And what is this asking us to do? I never do this. I'm not doing it. Maybe I'll do it later. App router, I don't have that. And we'll run the dev server. And I feel like it worked, but let's try grabbing a Mantine button and seeing if it shows up. Doesn't seem to. I think that's what happens when you don't import the styles properly. So what if we do that? There we go. Now we have the Mantine button, but I want to make sure that Tailwind still works. So let's say this is a Tailwind div, and we'll say class name equals bgred 400. Oh, both work. Okay, perfect. So we have Mantine. So let's go ahead and commit. We have Mantine support. Okay. We can fill it out a little bit better and add an app shell, which would be nice. So let's go ahead and add that app shell now. I'll just look in the docs, app shell, and I'm going to steal their example. Import the app shell, and in the children, where are we putting the children? Into the main. So now, if we reload the page, oh, I've missed to the toggle state. Okay, so we'll use disclosure, sounds good. Oh, I'm not allowed to push to main. I guess I'll have to make a branch. That was allowed, okay. I'll back up my main. And go back to, what did I call that? Setup tRPC. Okay. And we're back. Did I just erase everything I was doing with the app shell? Yes. How did I manage to do that? Did I just erase everything I did? That would not be good. I'm not sure how I just erased everything that I was doing. Oh, okay, we're back. Okay, so that should work. If we go back and refresh, oh, look at that, it's nice. So that looks pretty decent. Well, I mean, I guess. At least we have a shell here. And we can start to fill in that shell. We can say boom languages at the top there. Navbar, we can say guess we can have a link home. And this should collapse down, I think, by default. Yep, that's nice. Okay, happy with that to start out. And then I don't love the padding, but we can work on that. Okay. So we've got the app shell. Now let's set up the server side, the tRPC stuff, which is going to be essential for any server calls that we make. And then we can start thinking about an MVP of some sort. But first, let's get the tRPC stuff set up. So I've actually done this before. So I'm going to reference a different project and just make it happen. So we're going to need a server folder. We're going to need a util folder. And inside the server folder, we need a routers folder. And we'll fill that in. But first, let's grab from their guide what we need to install to get started. So okay, there we go. And I'm not going to follow any of their docs because I had a seriously hard time getting it to work. So I'm just going to use my existing project as much as I can. So I'm going to start with the short one. At least I think this is pretty short. tRPC in the util folder. So I'll start with the code part. Maybe it'll give me some help on the imports. This is not looking good. I'm not getting any suggestions. Not going to do any auth token stuff yet. And that's about it, except for down here we'll say server-side rendering false. And that's that whole file except for the imports. So that's going to error out horrendously until we go fill in some of this other stuff. So start with, well, context.ts, so we can give context to every request that we receive. So once again, I'll skip the imports for now. Create context, request, result, and this is going to return tRPC.next, or I'm sorry, tRPC next dot okay. This is getting done completely out of order, so we have all kinds of errors and things, but that's okay. It'll all come together. Have faith. Okay, and oh, so this is what I did on my other server. If it's an options call, just return 200 and don't even do anything. Because I was getting some major issues on the pre-flight checks there for cores, cross-origin site request or whatever it is. Okay, so if it's not an options call, then this is where you can get the user context info from token / whatever, and then return just an empty context for now. Okay, so that file doesn't do too much. Middleware, let's see, it's going to be pretty similar, I think. You know what, this middleware is for login checks, which we don't really have any yet. So if we need to check authorization, we'll do it in that file. And finally, tRPC.ts. I probably should have started with this one, but so we can import init tRPC from at tRPC/server. We'll create a tRPC thing. and it says avoid exporting this T, also common in I18N libs. So instead we will have a middleware procedure and router that we export. Okay. Now, is there anything else that we can import now? How's the util looking? Something tells me. Okay, and then what else? Let's keep filling stuff in. Routers. I'm going to add an app router. And so I'll just have an example subrouter. And I'll throw that in here too. Okay, so how's this look? We will do example router. And we'll just have to do a little middleware. I think it would just be procedure actually. Procedure from tRPC dot. What's the simplest thing we can do here? Let's see. So I think we can do query async options, and we won't have any arguments to this for now, and we can just return something. There we go. This router will import from tRPC as well, so that might work, maybe. So let's see. But the other thing that we have to do is go into the API folder and set that up. So we gotta go API, add a tRPC folder, and then do tRPC.ts. And all we're gonna have in here is and then what am I missing here? tRPC next. That's a special import. Import stars tRPC next from tRPC server adapters next. Okay. And yes, I am just copying the Boom languages code base that I already have, closed source, and trying to make this work. So let's go through all these files again and see where our import errors are. And then we can try an example request with tRPC. And the advantage of tRPC, if you're not familiar with it, is you don't have to do all the fetch stuff. It's just, that's the wrong router. You don't have to mess around with doing raw fetches. You can have that work out of the box. It has all this stuff to check if this or that is good to go, and it's just kind of nice. It checks your requests as you make them, and has built-in things that are just nice to have. So I think I can copy my other import of tRPC next, because it's the same thing here, and then that's good. This whole file's good now. Middleware, there's nothing there yet. And perfect. Util, how we looking? Ooh, this should be better now. Create tRPC. All right, so let's see what we're missing here. HTTP batch link, we should be able to find that, right? How come it's not giving me any good suggestions? That's okay. I can just type them over. Do I not have that package? That's probably a big problem. I'll have to install that. There we go. And then this base URL thing is good for like switching between mobile and not mobile. So I'm just gonna, I'll make something in util and call it base URL. And the idea with the getting base URL thing is, let's see if I can find it. Okay. Well, this is actually capacitor based, so I'm going to say to do use capacitor to detect whether on web or mobile. But for now, we'll just return nothing as the base URL. Eventually we'll need that. But okay. And then I'm assuming I'm missing the tRPC Next package, so I might need to install that too, and then we can try this out. So I guess I should install at tRPC/next. Whoa, I don't think I need the bleeding edge here. What is this thing doing to me? So I'm going to use what I was using before, which was 10.44.0 for next client and server and tRPC next. So we'll use those for all of them. Now what if I npmi? Perfect. Okay. So all the tRPC packages are installed. I can import this guy. Headers. What's going wrong with headers? Also, what is that? It's better. Headers. So, and SSR false is causing an issue. Oh, I forgot a colon or a comma. And okay, so what's wrong with the headers thing here? Did I put that in the wrong place? Async headers. Did I just forget a comma? No. Oh, I didn't return anything. There we go. Okay, so that's where we'll put the auth token stuff eventually. For now, we don't have to worry about it. And so it looks like tRPC is fairly happy. localhost 3000's happy. Let's add a test request to our homepage here. So I'm going to say, let's see if I can remember how to do this. It's been a minute. All right, so I'm going to say request example tRPC dot example dot index dot use query. That should work. Okay. And then down here we can say if request example dot is loading, return loading. Isn't there a Mantine loading indicator of some sort? Loading overlay loader. Sure, we can return a loader. Loader. What did it do? I hate it when it does that. Move to new file. Nope, wrong loader. Loader from Mantine. Where is that? Why is it not even in here? Wait. Ah, man, I put my package lock at the top level. How did that even happen? That's not what I wanted. I was wondering why there were no dependencies. So we definitely need all this tRPC stuff. And Mantine. So I'm going to remove node modules. I'm going to remove package.json, package lock.json, clear this out at the top level, and I should be in the next folder. And let's install again. Maybe I'll get some better results. Okay. There we go. So if it's loading, return the loader. Else if request example dot error, we'll just say that an error occurred. Did I misspell that somehow? For some reason that looks weird. Otherwise, I think we'll avoid some type errors if we just make sure that the data exists too. Then finally we can display the data. Which should be stored in this guy. And we could probably stringify it using JSON, but for now let's start with that. Isn't there a way to change the color of the button to red or something? Let's make it urgent. And then, okay. That ought to work. And let's see what that does. Uh-oh. I might have to restart the server. Don't compile error. No, what happened? Oh. Oh. I did forget to do that, I believe. So let's see what I missed here. Oh, yeah, I totally did forget that. Okay, let's try doing that. So export default, let's change this. Export default tRPC.with tRPC. My app. Meanwhile, will not export that function at all. It's just going to be a function app. Okay, and then we need to import tRPC, and maybe that'll work. There we go. Here's some data. Hello world, do nothing. Okay, so there we go. We have tRPC set up, so I'm going to commit in 1 second. But while we're at it, let's just confirm, just for illustrative purposes, that something is happening on the server side. So when we load this page on our browser, it makes a request to the server. Hello from the server side. It does it twice even. So it's really good stuff. Add tRPC and get working. So tRPC is all set up. Now we can actually start to think about functionality. I might even merge this merge request in and just call that a good start. Well, we can add a logo maybe for Boom, and then start thinking about that first feature, which I believe, I don't know if I documented it anywhere, but first feature is going to be something to assist you with translating words and phrases and saving those for later. So let's look into that. So it's been 30 minutes. It's a good start. What's on our roadmap? Anything? Okay. Both of those are done. I wonder what I did with my plan for Boom. I had one somewhere. Oh, here are some issues. Oh, I was going to do design docs for all this stuff. So the translator is the main thing here that we need to start with. I guess I already have a merge request open for that. Okay, so one of the most common needs, quickly translate words and phrases. Oh, this is great. I'm glad that I recorded this. Okay. So I might merge this tRPC thing and then come back to this and finish it up. Okay. That looks like a pretty good design doc anyway. I might merge that too. But I'll start by making a merge request for setting up tRPC. It's a good start. Okay. And I'll merge that in a little bit after I'm done streaming for today. And can also look into this design doc. I might check out this branch and see if there's anything else to add to it. So the main folder here. Oh, maybe I can merge main. Okay. And then the translator is the first feature. And is there anything here that needs to be expanded upon? We can do a quick wireframe. I think that's the only thing left. And then go ahead and implement it. Maybe flesh out how the stuff is stored too. Oh, and one more thing to set up on that branch is Prisma. So I do have Inkscape here. So let's see if we can read this that I wrote like a month or more ago. And read this and create a wireframe from the description that I made over a month ago. When did I make this? 3 weeks ago. It's a long time. You can forget a lot of things in 3 weeks. So, translator component. We have the left text area, so this is going to look a lot like a certain product from, Alphabet Inc. type of company. Little translate app, you might have heard of it. Not going to drop any names. But, so it says that there's a left box. I almost think it would be easier to mock this up in code. Can I just type in this? This would be, I think this would be easier in PowerPoint. Or whatever it's called. So let's see if I can do this. I should be able to add a shape, right? Maybe it wouldn't be easier in PowerPoint. Where's the square tool? No. There we go. Hello. Okay, cool. So I can instantly just type in it. So we got the left box. We got the right box. I'm going to do this in Inkscape. Sorry. Okay, so we'll have left. We'll have right. Component. And we'll have the swap button in between. Right here. And we'll have the save card button. And the save single card button. Hopefully that's not too confusing. And React tabular icons. Where can I search? Tabular icons. I know that these are pretty easy to get working, so I'm just going to use them. Save. Why does that look so bad? Did I lose all the colors? Interesting. Are these supposed to be white? Or gray? Okay, that looks a little better. So we'll have the save icon here and here. This one will say whole phrase. This one will say single word. And then when you hit single word, it'll It's just a mock-up, so I'll put actual values in. And then we can go ahead and add more text. User rates low in there. Obviously, it comes up with hola. And we call it a day. And the only thing we're missing is switch. Oh, there we go. Switch horizontal would be nice. These icons don't come out very good in Inkscape, but it'll work. So we have the switch. Ooh, wow, that came out really bad. Can I like stroke these? Stroke paint. There we go. How do I configure how many pixels it is? No fill. Just stroke. Stroke style. Here we go. Make it a little thinner. It doesn't look great, but it's good enough. I could just move those two back a little bit. 1, 2. Oh, there we go. That's good. Okay. So that pretty much handles it. And then let's just fit the document to this little mock-up wireframe. And how do I do that? I forget. Isn't there a button to fit document somehow? Fit document to, oh, resize the content. There we go. Okay. So that's a good wireframe. Well, good's a strong word, but it's a wireframe. So I'll put this on my desktop and call it translator wireframe. And then I'll go in here and next to the translator I will put, I don't know what that is, I'll get rid of that. And translator wireframe can go right in here. And then we should be able to include that photo right here somehow. Like that maybe. Then if we check how this looks when we render it, does it look good? Docgen dot directory build HTML architecture docs translator summary. Good. That looks nice. Okay. So the translator component has save card, translate. Okay, so there are some gaps here that I'd like to figure out. So the translator page, I don't know if any of this stuff is super important. I think what really needs to be defined is the server side. So we'll need a couple different requests. We'll need a save card. We'll need a save single word. Well, really, we just need save card. And we need a translate. And we need to debounce that somehow so we don't waste translation API credits. But server-side routes, safeguard, and we'll have a translator dot save card method, translator dot translate method. I just have to define those functions, and then we'll have a pretty good design, I think. We also have to figure out how to get the languages in. Or we could hard code it for now. Could hard code a user into the context, possibly. So it accepts these props from parent. It should also accept the source language, or I guess we could say native language, or let's just say language 1, which is going to be a string. First language to translate, left by default, left at first. Second language to translate. Because we could call it source target native foreign or whatever you want to call it, but really it's just two languages and we're going to swap them back and forth. Doesn't even necessarily have to be native or anything like that. Honestly, I don't think we need to get too deep into how it comes out of the user's profile, because those are just defaults. We can just provide some options. Or just set those in stone to start with. Or should there be a drop down, just like Google Translate has? Yeah, it's not a bad idea. So that'll actually just be internal state. So that's a good start. And then let's just think through real quick these server-side routes, which shouldn't be too hard to figure out. So we can kind of steal this, actually. Or we can steal these two right here, because it tells us what we need to put in each of these requests. So we have the argument, type, description, and we can say prompt. It's going to be a string, and this will be the user define string to translate. Are we missing a method here? So we pass in a onTranslate. wouldn't it just be translate? Like a function that returns a response? I'm wondering. Oh, that's to save the history. Well, I would think that would happen on the server side anyway. So I think we really just need to call translate. And translate. And it accepts a prompt in a prompt language. And it returns somehow a tuple of those two things, which maybe they need their own type. Save card also will just be a void. Okay. Do I need to say called with front back? Probably not. Save a card to the server. Request a translation from the server. Okay. And then left language, right language, that all looks good. And then what else? Prompt is, okay, so save card accepts a prompt in a prompt language. So there's a little bit of repetition, but whatever. I guess we need the response language too, and that's going to be an argument. So I wasn't really thinking this through. Response language, and then you just get the response back. All right, that's not the best syntax, but it'll work. Well, I actually like that because it's descriptive, even if it's not perfect TypeScript. Okay, and then we're going to get response language, string, language to translate into. Okay. So translate, I just did this backwards, so let's put the translation first because that's the important part. Translate is there, and then saving the card goes down here. And that's going to have which arguments? I'll steal this. And we'll say front is going to be a string, front of the card, back, string, back of the card. Card object created that is tied to the currently logged in user. So it kind of assumes that there are users. So we might have to do that part kind of first. But I think this is looking like a pretty complete design doc at this point. So I'm going to commit this, and then it's been a productive evening, we can probably call it, and get back to this at a different time. So finish fleshing out translator design doc. Push that up, and yeah, that's looking good. Check, 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 check. This is outdated, but whatever. It's ready to merge, so this is good to go. And then what's next from here? Let's think about that. I think it might be time to implement, well, the user design doc's probably next, and then also the, what is this? Why did I write this? Okay, well, translator's done. User is pretty important. Whoa. So move user up. Then storage is an interesting one too. Cards is important. They're all kind of important at the same time, unfortunately. But I think the user will have to come up with a very simple approach to doing the user stuff and then move on from there. But yeah. All right, I think I'm going to call it. I'm going to try to get these two merge requests merged in, and then we can go from there. But now that we have the translator design doc, well, I guess I should finish all these design docs before I write any code. So, yeah. I guess I can say implement translator per design doc. C docs / architecture / translator / index.md, or paste pages site link here. And then I'll create that issue for later. And that might be it. So it's been an hour. I'm going to call it a stream, but thanks for watching. See you for the next one.